So hi everyone, welcome to the Essex Sport Facebook Live page. My name is Arlene. I'm going to run a slow flow yoga class today. So just make sure before you participate that you've got your space nice and clear and there's enough space to move your limbs freely. Just check that the floor is not too slippery and perhaps have a yoga mat handy. You can also have a little drink of water nearby for the session. All right, so we'll get started. If you want to come to a comfortable seated position, and we'll start from there. Okay, so just settling into your mat, and you might sit in a cross-legged position today if that's comfortable for you, but you're welcome to use a pillow or a block if that just feels like the elevation will give you a nice length in your spine. So just check in with how you feel. Okay, so just coming to sit comfortably. And just notice the touching points you have with the ground. So you're welcome to adjust and find cushions or blankets for underneath your legs. And just take a few moments to center and relax through your sitting bones. And you might start to feel where the air enters as you inhale, the parts of your body that begin to move, and where, when you exhale, does the breath release. And just settle in, just scan and notice if you feel tension at all in your body. And perhaps the breath starts to feel low near your belly. And you might imagine that with each inhalation, you're slowly inflating a balloon. And then when it's time to exhale, as if you're letting small amounts of air release with your breath. So just continuing to connect with your breath for a few more moments. And just observe as you inhale the parts of your body that move. Maybe you feel the breath along your stomach, the sides of your body, your back as you inhale. And when you exhale, almost a sense of release, letting go. Okay, just one more grounding breath here. Good. And when you're ready, just start to bring a little movement to your shoulders. And you can start to bring your shoulders up to your ears and roll your shoulders back. And just check in, does that feel nice? Do you feel any tension that you might not have been aware of in your shoulders? And you can go in either direction, so perhaps changing the direction, or you can alternate. And you can do that one shoulder at a time if you prefer, in either direction. Good, so after you've given your shoulders a few shrugs, just come to sit again and just check in, how does that change the awareness of your seated position. And just very gently bring your chin towards your chest, but without bringing any tension to your neck. Check in with your jaw if it feels relaxed. And then slowly bring a little head roll side to side. Again, just explore and work in the range that feels comfortable for you. So avoid any tension and just notice where you're comfortable moving. And if it feels appropriate for your body, you can even circle your head all the way, complete circle, or you might stay with that semicircle. Good. And then we'll come to bring our head back to the center, chin to chest, and gently bring your head upright. And if you just check in, you might switch your legs if they feel uncomfortable at all, but place your fingertips on the floor either side of your hips, and you might just gently push your fingertips into the ground. And notice almost a lightness comes to your bottom. Like the top of your head almost lengthens up to the ceiling. And keep that long spine that creates space between each vertebrae, but relax your hands down. Good, and then just bring one arm overhead. You can turn your palm to the ceiling and slowly reach your arm, connect to your sitting bones. And as you exhale, just take a little side bend and just see if you'd like the hand on the floor to have your elbow bend, or you might slide your hands along away from you on the ground. And just check in if you feel tension in your neck at all, or it feels like there's tension in your jaw. You might start to turn your head, a little rotation. So it feels like you're turning your head side to side. Just notice how that feels. Good, and then we'll gently come back up. Just notice how that feels right side to left, any differences. And then do the other arm, palm turns away or towards your center. Little side bend here again. Maybe you like to bend your elbow, or you might slide your fingertips along. But just check in that you have your sitting bones, your sit bones both connected with the ground. Lovely. And we'll gently come back up. Good, so for the next one, you're welcome to stay in a cross-leg position if that's comfortable, but you might switch to sit on your shins as long as that doesn't create any tension or your knees, or if you, sometimes if you have circulation or varicose veins, this can be an uncomfortable position. So just do what's right for you. So remain cross-legs, switch to sitting on your shins, called Virasana. Good, and I'm just going to do a little side view next, but if you come to feel your shoulders above your hips, and you can bring your arms behind you and either bend your elbows and have your hands rest on your lower back or interlace your fingers, and you can slowly start to lower your knuckles towards the floor and maybe add a little rotation through your shoulders. And just checking with how that feels. If you want to make that deeper, you can just gaze up with your eyes, or you might start to lean back a little and feel your breastbone lengthen upwards, but just be kind, avoid tension. Just do this at the range that feels comfortable for you. And just check in, how does your neck feel, the sides of your neck and your jaw. Good, lovely. One more breath here. Then we'll come to sit upright again. Option to keep your arms as they are. And again, you can do this in the cross-leg position, if that's what you're in. And just slowly start to lean forward. So just stop at any point. You might come down towards the floor, so you're resting your forehead on a cushion or a pillow. You can even come all the way down to the ground. So just see where that's comfortable for you to rest. And just stay there for a few moments. If there's too much tension building your shoulders, bring your elbows out to the side or rest the backs of your hands on your lower back. So just do that at the range that feels comfortable for you. And then when you're ready, we'll slowly start to uncurl. So option to keep your arms as they are, or you might place your hands on the floor and gently uncurl your spine to come up to a seated position. Good, and then we'll release hold of our fingers. And if you come to all fours on your hands and knees, and just set up for cat and cow here. So feel your hands about the width of your shoulders, your knees about the width of your hips, and your knees directly under your hips, wrists under your shoulders. And just feel softness and those connection points with the ground. We'll start to inhale, soften your stomach to the mat, tailbone tips up, and you can look up with your head. And at your own pace, when you exhale, draw your navel inward, round your spine. You can relax to look down at your knees, relax the back of your neck. But just move through cat and cow at your own pace. Moving with your breath just as an option. You can focus just on the movement, but you might relax through your touching points. So when you inhale for cow, you can feel the weight in your hands as your collarbones start to create space. And when you exhale, maybe give your hands to the ground. That helps to open between the shoulder blades. Good. So one more round of cat and cow at your own pace. Lovely. And then we'll come to a neutral spine. And if you reach one arm out to the side, inhale, and then as you exhale, rotate to the side. So your arms extending away from you. Just come at the range that feels comfortable. Stop at any point, and you can feel that open your chest space and maybe your sides. You might look at your finger as an option. And then as you exhale, lower your arm. Bring your fingers to the floor. Slide your hands between the wrist and knee on the ground. And just stay there. You can breathe into your shoulder blades. If you want to make that deeper, you might bend your elbow of your hand resting on the ground and slowly start to relax down. You can do this with cushions or anything underneath your head. If you want to make it deeper, you can either reach the hand that's resting on the floor up in front of you, or you can bend your elbow and place it on your lower back. So just check in with how that feels. Maybe you start to feel that breath opening between your shoulder blades or the side of your neck. Good, and then very slowly, at your own pace, unfold, come back to all fours, and just notice how that whole side of your body feels, the arm that you extended. Good, and we'll do the other side. So just when you're ready, other arm reaches out to the side, rotating. Chest opens, maybe you look up at your fingers, and then slow exhalation. Just move at your own pace. Notice the range that feels comfortable. Just stop wherever it feels right for your body. And maybe that is different on this side than the other. So just come to bring a fresh perspective. Where does it feel that the range of motion feels appropriate on this side? Good. So one more breath here. Lovely. When you're ready, we'll slowly come back up to all fours on hands and knees. Good. So next, we're going to come to either extended child's pose or downward facing dog. So just see which one you prefer. So for extended child's pose, from all fours, bring your bottom to your heels, and you can slowly start to bring your upper body in the direction of the floor. Just stop anywhere in that range. You can bring support for your head with your fists or a pillow or a block or on the ground itself. If you like to practice downward facing dog today, from all fours, tuck your toes under, lift your hips up, and just make that your own. Think about how that creates a nice long spine, so you can bend your knees to find that, or alternatively lift your heels off the floor before bending your knees. Good, so just notice where you'd like to find your downward facing dog today, and you're welcome to bring movement to down dog by bending one knee at a time. Good. And then when you're ready, we'll come to practice forward fold. So if you're in child's pose, rise up through all fours. Down dog, you can walk your hands to your feet or feet to hands. Come to a forward folded position, or Uttanasana. Notice where that's comfortable. You can have your forearms resting on your thighs, maybe turn your head side to side, anywhere your legs would like to be. Put small space behind your knees, just so it doesn't feel like we're clenching our joints there. Just a soft lengthening of the back of your legs, that space behind you. And just notice if the weight's more towards your toes or your heels or somewhere in between. Good, and when you're ready, you can draw your navel inward, little bend in your knees, unfold your spine up to standing head up last at your own pace. Good, when you're upright, bring your arms up overhead, little upper back bend here. So weight comes to your heels, hips slowly come forward, lengthen your fingers upwards so it feels like your rib cage is lifting away from your hips. You might turn your head to gaze up as well, and then as you exhale, arms open out to the side. Great. So we'll walk towards the front of our mat for a little sun salutation. Good. Just notice the weight connect with the floor evenly throughout your feet. Inhale, arms up at your own pace. Again, option to gaze upward or upper back bend. And as you exhale, slowly bring chin to chest, slide down, come back to that forward folded position, wherever that's comfortable in this moment. If you feel tension in your shoulders, you're welcome to bend your elbows to hold onto your forearms. You might turn your head side to side here. So just see how that feels for you. Good, one more breath here. Then we'll bend our knees deeply, palms on the mat, about the width of your shoulders. Step your right foot back. You can either bring your knee down or step your leg further back and be on the ball of your foot. So just see where you're comfortable. Feet are about the width of your hips here. As you inhale, lift your chest away from your thigh. Just lift as high as feels comfortable. And if that feels a bit intense on the front of your thigh or your hip, you can bring your knee closer. Good. So just notice where you're comfortable, anywhere in those options. Make it your own. One more breath here. Lovely. And we'll gently bring our hands back to the mat. Either come to all fours next on hands and knees, or you might practice plank pose. Wrists are under your shoulders, navel's engaged here. Good, knee down option. Bend your elbows, come down towards the mat. Good, once you're face down, you can slide your hands forward. Inhale, hips in contact with the ground, lift your chest away from the floor, come up to Sphinx. You might practice with longer arms here for Cobra. Just notice where it's comfortable, avoid tension, particularly in your lower back. Good, one more breath here. Slowly bring your chest to mat. Hands to the side of your chest, up through all fours, option here. Come to extended child's pose or downward facing dog. And just check in, how does your downward facing dog feel today? You might start to lengthen your heels towards the floor, but feel that sense of lightness in your hips, like your tailbone is starting to lengthen up to the ceiling. Good, one more breath here. If you're in all fours, come back to, or if you're in extended child's pose, come back to all fours. If you're in down dog, you can look between your hands and step your right foot forward. Good, so knee down option here on your left. Inhale, chest lifts. And again, just come into this position in a range that feels comfortable for you. Maybe the ball of your foot, maybe your knees down. Okay, and you can bring your knee closer if that's more comfortable. One more breath here. Good, hands back to mat. Step your feet together, return to forward fold wherever that's comfortable. You can soften through your touching points. Bend in your knees as much as feels appropriate. Last breath here. Draw your navel inward and fold your spine slowly up to standing, head up last. Inhale, arms up at your own pace, upper back bend option. And as you exhale, slowly come back to your mountain pose or to your forward fold. Relax here through your touching points. Good. One more breath here. Gently extend your left foot behind you. Good, hands are on the floor, width of your shoulders, knee down option. Inhale, chest lifts away from your right thigh or from the leg that's in front. Good. Hands back to mat. All fours are plank. Take the option that feels right for you. Good, knee down option, elbows bend, come down towards the mat. With your inhalation, rest your forearms on the ground. Slowly start to lift your chest away from the floor. Let gravity take over, so you're resting through your touching points here. Just come where it feels comfortable for your back, your shoulders. Good, hands, chest back to mat. Hands side to the side of your chest, up through all fours. Option again, extended child's pose, or tuck your toes, lift your hips up for downward facing dog. You might bring movement to your down dog, see what feels comfortable for you. Good, one more breath here. Good. Knee down option through all fours. Step your left foot forward between your hands, equestrian pose. Knee down option here again. For your back leg, inhale, chest lifting up. As high as feels comfortable. You can turn your head to gaze upwards if you want to come a bit deeper into that and find how that opens in the front of your hip. Good. Hands back to mat. Step your feet together. Return to the forward fold or Uttanasana. Notice where that's comfortable for you. One more breath here. And when you're ready, draw your navel inward and fold your spine up to standing, head up last. Good. When you're upright at your own pace, inhale, arms up. Upper back bend option. Lengthen your front body. Exhale, opening her up to the side, and you can give everything a little shake. Okay, great. So we're going to come back down to all fours. The two options for the next one. If you're more comfortable staying on all fours, you can extend one leg behind you. Perhaps it's your right. Good. And just checking with how that feels. And you can start to turn your hips so your knee comes out to the side and then back to center. If you're comfortable, as an alternative, tucking your toes, lifting up to down dog, we can do the same movement from down dog, lifting one leg up. Perhaps it's your right. As an option, you can turn your hip and your knee out to the side so your toes are facing, if it's your right leg, your toes are facing to the right side. You can also look underneath your armpit here. Good, then we'll rotate back to center. Good, and then we'll start to bend our right knee towards our navel and step, if that's the leg you have lifted, step your right foot forward. Good, you can do the same from all fours. Bring your right foot forward. Lovely. So just check in here. You might have your back leg, your knee down, or you can be elevated on the ball of your foot. So just see where that's comfortable for you. Left hand stays anchored on the ground, right arm reaches out to the side. Start to make a little rotation towards the bent knee. Good. So if your right foot's forward, you can have your right arm extend up. And maybe you start to gaze up. So same here if you're on the ball of your foot. If you want to make that the deeper end, you can bring your left arm across your body and bring the palms of your hands to touch, or keep your arm elevated. Just see where you're comfortable. Okay, one more breath here. Lovely. And slowly rotate forward. Come back to your starting point of either downward facing dog or all fours on hands and knees. And we'll do the other leg. So your left leg from all fours extends behind you. Maybe you look over your shoulder and open your knee out to the side. Same in downward facing dog. You can lift your leg up so your heel's leading, then look towards the left. Your hip opening out to the side as well as your knee. Good. Then come back to center. We'll bring our knee to our navel. Step your left foot forward or the other foot forward between your hands. Good. Notice if you'd like knee down option. And when you're ready, rotate over to the left. Other side. See where you'd like to gaze. Gaze. Stop at any point in that range. Good. Maybe you bring your opposite elbow to your thigh. Your right arm to your left thigh. Good. One more breath here. Lovely. And when you're ready, gently rotate back to center. Good. And we'll come back to all fours on hands and knees. From here, just very slowly come to practice child's pose. So bringing your bottom to your heels, slowly bring your upper body down. You can rest your forehead on the ground. Just see where you're comfortable in that range. But just allow your lower back to soften at your bottom. Feel gravity take over. And it helps to feel the breath rise up through your tailbone, upwards. You're almost inflating a balloon in your lower back. Good, one more breath here. Then gently uncurl. Good, we'll come up through a squat position to rise to standing. So if you turn your toes to the outside edges of your mat, your heels are towards the center, and then gently bring your palms of your hands to touch. So you can do that with your heels lifted off the floor. You can be higher, just see wherever that's comfortable for your positioning. Good. One more breath here, and then to rise up to standing, slowly push your feet as if the top of your head is magnetized towards the ceiling. Good, and you can give everything a little shake here. Okay, great. So if you come to stand comfortably with your feet about the width of your hips, a little bit towards the front of your mat. Good. And step your right leg comfortably back. So your hips are evenly facing forward. Notice your shoulders over your hips, and you might gently either press down through your back leg, your right heel, or you can rotate from your thigh a little bit to turn your leg out to the side. Good. So just think about bringing your arms overhead. Gently bend your left knee. Allow it to track towards the center of your foot. So if it's coming to big toe a little, just adjust. You can step your foot further forward. Good. And then from here, keep your arms long and this alignment of shoulders over hip, but gently start to lean forward just a little bit. So you can do that a little bit deeper forward, almost like you're trying to feel your breastbone lead and to come forward. Good. And then push through your feet, your left foot, hinge back up, and this time straighten your left leg. And just do that twice more. So bend your knee, your left knee, hinge forward, come on that diagonal. Again, you can come into that deeper if that's more comfortable. Wherever, stop wherever it feels appropriate. And then push your feet, almost like your fingers start to want to touch the ceiling. Good, so one more round, left knee bends, hinge forward. Just slowly connect your touching points on your feet. You can feel that kind of transfer of weight and hinging back up. Good, lovely. Then if you step your feet together, just check in, notice how right foot, left foot feels. And we'll stay with our right leg behind you, so just shift the weight over to your left foot and then bring your right leg behind you like there's a string, drawing your heel straight behind your shoulder, but your knees pointing forward. Good, and then if you bring your arms up overhead, and we'll do a little balance here, so you can lift your toes off the floor. Maybe that's where you like to stay. If you want to come into this deeper, you can start to hinge forward, but do that by directing your heel to lift up to the ceiling, like there's a string on your ankle drawing your heel upwards. So just stop wherever that's comfortable. At maximum, you might have to have your chest towards the floor. If the arms overhead feels a bit intense, or if you have high blood pressure, you might bring your arms out to the side on your hips or rest them on your lower back. Good, so to come out, imagine your toes come out at any time. Your toes are drawn forward, and you slowly start to hinge back up to standing. Good, just do that at your own pace. You can give everything a little shake, or rotate your head side to side. Good, and then we'll do the same sequence on the other side when you're ready. Okay, so we'll start with our step back of the other leg, our left leg perhaps, hips facing forward, option to rotate from your thigh to turn your left leg out to the side, the back leg, arms up overhead, palms are turned inward here, and then gently start to bend your front leg, your right knee perhaps. Notice where it's tracking. You can make more space if you want to come into that deeper. Good, so keep that long spine, but gently start to hinge forward. You can imagine that your hands are just holding a large beach ball. They feel active and engaged. And then when you come slowly back upright, straighten your right leg. And just do that twice more at your own pace. Knee bends, hinge forward. Almost like you're touching, reaching forward, passing that beach ball to someone else. Good, and then slowly straightening to come upright. Once more, bending your front knee, hinging forward. Again, come into that as much as feels comfortable. Just stop it anywhere in the range. Push your feet hinging back up. Good, lovely. And then as you exhale, step your feet together. You're welcome to give everything a little shake, or if you feel tension in your hips, you can widen the space between your feet and give a little circle of your hips in either direction. Good, so one more to do on this side, our warrior three. So if you shift the weight to the leg that was in front, perhaps it's your right, hips stay level as if a string is drawing your heel behind you, straight behind your shoulder. Arms can float overhead. And maybe this is our balance by lifting our toes off the floor, come back down at any time. Maybe it's like a string is drawing your heel upwards. So stop anywhere in that range that feels comfortable. And again, you can adjust the placement of your arms. Check in with your back of your neck. So how close would you like your chin to be to your chest? So stop at any point, come out at any time. Good, one more breath here. And then when you're ready, you can slowly start to draw your toes forward. Maybe there's another little string. Drawing your toes forward so your knee stays facing the front. Good. At your own pace, when you're upright, we'll relax, give everything a little shake. And then if you just stand with your feet about the width of your hips, inhale your arms up overhead, exhale, bend your knees, let your arms swing down. And it's like you're leading with your tailbone. Do that again at your own pace, inhaling up, exhaling, relaxing down. Good. Once more. Lovely. Good. We'll come back to that squat position, or garland pose that we did earlier. We came from the ground up. We'll come this time from standing to towards the floor. So if you stand with your feet turned out to the side, hands in front of your heart space, and just very slowly start to bend your knees. You can adjust where your heels are so it feels like your knees are tracking comfortably. So stop anywhere in that range. That feels nice. So at maximum, you might bring your elbows inside of your knees. Good. Notice how that feels. Good. One more breath here. Lovely. And we'll very slowly bring our hands to the floor. You can bring your knees inward. And just start to come to all fours and make a little circle with your hips. Like you have something on your tailbone, like a pencil, and you're drawing circles on the ceiling with your tailbone. Good. And then if you come to just rest in child's pose, your bottom comes to your heels. You might slide your hands forward, rest your forehead on the ground. You're welcome to bend your elbows to rest your forearms on the side on the floor. Just notice how that feels. Good. And you can turn your head either direction if that feels more comfortable. So just notice what feels comfortable for your child's pose today. Your head resting in the center, a nice alignment to the right side and left, or maybe it feels nice to turn your head towards the right or towards the left. Good. And then when you're ready, slowly start to uncurl your spine. Good. And we'll come to a seated position with our legs straight in front of us. Good. And just think about your legs long, straight from your hip space, your knees are up to the ceiling. Option to sit up on a block here, just see what feels comfortable. And you might bend your knees so you can feel your shoulders over your hips. Okay, so just choose one leg, keep one leg straight. The other leg, bend your knee, hold onto your shin, and you can start to lengthen your top of your head up to the ceiling so you can feel your sitting bones just relax into the ground. So option to stay here. If you want to come into it a bit deeper, you can lift your foot off the floor and cross your leg over the straight one. So just notice how that feels. Good. So option one, you can hold onto your shin, stay here. Option two, bend your elbow and bring it on the outside edge of your bent knee. Keep your spine long. Good. Inhale your arm up, the same arm as your bent knee. Rotate towards your bent knee so your stomach comes towards your thigh. And then very slowly start to lower the arm that's extended upwards towards the floor. Good. So just come into that as much as feels comfortable. And if you want to come into it deeper, you can turn your head and look over your shoulder. So without bringing tension, just feel like a sense of floating. You're just easing into the rotation. Okay, come into that as much as feels appropriate for your body. No pressure. Okay. So one more breath here. Lovely. And then when you're ready, slowly rotate forward. Undo your legs. Keep them both straight. Give them a little shake. And then we'll do the other side. So opposite leg, stay straight. Knees up to the ceiling. You might flex your foot. Other knee bends. Hold onto your shin. Lengthen up. Long spine. Good. Maybe your foot stays here. You might cross it over your straight leg. Good. You can hold onto your shin with the opposite hand of your bent knee, or you can bring your elbow on the outside edge of your knee. Good. Same arm as your knee that's bent. Lift it up to the ceiling. Rotate to the side. So your stomach comes towards your thigh of your bent leg, and then gently bring your hand to rest on the floor behind you. Just come into that as much as feels appropriate, like you're just easing into the rotation. And you might feel with your exhalation that your body just releases a little bit, and you might rotate deeper, but there's no expectation or pressure. Good. One more breath here. Lovely. When you're ready, slowly unfold. Good. Uncurl your legs. You can lean back, give everything a little shake. If you lay on your back, and bring your knees to your chest. You can stay here, drawing your thighs towards your chest. You might lift your forehead up towards your knees. Another option is to draw circles on the ceiling with your knees. So you can feel that massage your lower back, your hips, and do that in either direction. Just see what feels comfortable for you. Good. We'll stop in the center again. Draw your thighs to your chest, flex your feet, and you might hold behind your calf muscles or your thighs, and just very slowly start to lengthen your heels away from you. So just stop wherever that feels comfortable for you. It doesn't matter where your legs are, but just a little lengthening of your heels. You can have a bend in your knees if that's more comfortable. So be kind to your lower back and your hips as well. Good, so one more breath here. And then to come out of this, you can either bend your knees and bring your feet to the floor, or you might open your arms out to the side, and option to bring your feet next to each other. And with control, like your heels are lengthening away from you, but be kind to your lower back if you feel tension there. But you can start to lower your straight legs down. Just do that at your own pace. No rush. You might feel a little engagement there. But when you do feel your legs fully in contact to the ground, just start to make a little stretch into space. That might be a full body stretch. You might bend your knees and start to windshield wiper your knees side to side. So just see what feels comfortable for you. Good. And then when you're ready, if you just start to bend your knees again and as an option, you can bend your elbows, place one elbow on top of the other and rest your hands either side on your sides, and you might even walk your fingertips towards your spine a little bit. So just as an option, you can rest there, just settle into your back, and perhaps you can feel your breath start to rise and fall low near your belly and open into that space between your shoulder blades. If you're uncomfortable with your arms here, you're welcome to place them wherever you'd like to have them, out to the side or on your belly. Good. Just a few breaths here. Notice your inhalation, its length. Notice your exhalation, its length. And just feel that you can give to the ground completely. Good. So you're welcome to stay here for a few more moments, relaxing. But I'll leave you now. Thank you for practicing yoga with me today. When does it feel right to come out, you might just very slowly start to have your index finger and your thumb touch to bring sensation back slowly to your body. No rush to do this. Just do it when you feel right, when it feels right for you. But thank you for coming and honoring yourself with your practice today. Feel free to shoot over a message to the Essex Sport Facebook page if you have any questions. You can check out our other library of exercise videos or videos to get moving on Facebook Live or on YouTube. And you can also check out the website for any other activities that you can engage to stay active during this time. Thank you. Bye.